Hey everyone, I'm Hubsmash and welcome to the video. I've been creating content for about 6 months now and I've published over 100 videos. At the time of this recording, I have just over 30,000 views and I'm approaching 500 subscribers. So I'm not an expert, but I'm proud of what I create and I'm more proud of everything I've learned since starting this whole thing. With that being said, let me share with you my advice on making good gaming videos. Specifically, Let's Plays. I see the question, how do I make a good Let's Play, or some sub-question of that all over the place, and I hope I can help anybody out and give them some direction. Keep in mind that this is mostly targeted at Let's Players or walkthrough style videos, but really it can apply to any kind of video content for YouTube. The first thing that needs to be realized is that what makes a thing good, I'm using air quotes and you can't see me, but what makes a thing good is completely relative to the individuals experiencing it. So I'm talking about both the audience and the creator. With every video you publish, every poem someone writes, or every song someone sings, there's going to be people that like it and people that don't. So the first step in creating something good is creating something that you're proud of and something that is created the way you wanted to create it. I'll get more into this later. The only true variables that remain consistent in determining whether or not a Let's Play is good usually come from technical things like audio and video quality. So before you get all excited, start freaking out, I'm not saying you have to go have the best microphone or the best capturing methodology and equipment, but there are some guidelines I think everyone should kind of follow and really work to meet at a minimum. So at a minimum, I think your video should be 720p 30 FPS. Ideally, it'd be 1080p at 30 FPS, if you can't, assuming you can't do 60. 60 FPS is nice to have, but it doesn't matter enough to stop the vast majority of people from watching. So these requirements are going to raise as time goes on and standards become easier to achieve. And we're not far away from 1080p being the standard. And actually, I'd kind of say that it kind of is the standard right now, but 720p is still passable quality in the majority of cases. So that's what I would say to aim for as a minimum. And on your microphone side, it has to be decent quality. And you need to be able to record with minimal room noise or be able to edit that out in Audacity or Audition or whatever you use. So when I say decent microphone, I don't mean, a certain amount of money. I just mean that you're not peaking out your audio levels, causing clipping. And just as an aside, you can't fix clipping during editing without cutting out that segment of the audio. So your voice is clear and easy to understand. Accents are totally fine. In fact, I'd recommend that you embrace your accent if you have one. The mic's not crackling or doing some kind of ridiculous humming in the background or things like that. And if it is doing those kind of things, try to remove it when you're editing later. You can make a very cheap microphone sound a lot better than it is when you're editing, but that's kind of beyond the scope of this video. At a minimum, your videos should be rendered based on YouTube specifications. I'll put a link in the description to that, using the bitrate that they recommend for the resolution and frame rate that you're uploading at. If you can go higher because you have a faster CPU and faster upload speed, do it. Personally, I render at about 20 megabits per second for my 1080p 60 FPS footage. If my upload was better, I'd bring that up. I'd do it higher. YouTube will compress your video again as soon as it finishes uploading, and that's what's happening during that processing stage. You want to give YouTube the best quality you can muster before they apply their compression methods to it. My next point is to just start. This is actually probably the most important thing. As long as you have the technical stuff covered, I mean you have the equipment that you need to actually do it, just get started. There are free tools you can use to do pretty much everything you need to do if you're on PC. If you're on console, you might need to purchase a capture card or something like that. But don't go out and spend tons and tons of money on equipment right away. Make sure you actually enjoy the hobby. Once you know you'll stick with it through thick and thin, feel free to drop some money on it if you can afford it and you're into it. The most important thing to realize with this is that every single video you create, every single time you sit down and record, and every single time you publish a video, you're making progress. It's not always visible to you. But trust me when I say that it's there, it's definitely there. Keep at it, keep progressing. Eventually you'll notice all of these improvements. Don't wait to start just because your mic quality isn't amazing. Like I said above, it doesn't need to be amazing. It just needs to be passable. It needs to be decent to get started. You know what? Actually, I would say it doesn't even need to be decent. It just needs to be a microphone to get started. Now, that totally limits how good your content can be. If your microphone's not good, or it's not good enough, it's going to definitely put a ceiling on kind of how good you can make something. But you can still make something. And so I think you should definitely do that if you can. You're going to start off pretty bad at this stuff anyways. I mean, most likely. I definitely did. And I still have lots to learn. And a good microphone is not going to fix the issues that you're going to cause yourself just due to a lack of general experience with it. The next thing you want to do is find your voice, find your style, find the nature in which you want to present your content to the world. It's fine to start off mimicking other YouTubers that you admire. That's a great place actually to begin, especially if you have no idea where to start. It takes time, commitment, and practice. Are you going to be this loud, excitable, energetic commentator, or are you going to make jokes constantly, barely ever taking anything seriously? Or are you going to be kind of an informative and educational kind of style? Teaching as you go about the game, or maybe a bit of a mix. You teach, but then you throw some jokes in. Try out different kinds of styles and see what meshes with you the best. I find it's usually the one you enjoy watching the most. At least that's what it was for me personally. But you don't need to copy anybody. You're just using them as a point of reference to help understand how they do things so that you can do similar things on the road to kind of finding your own unique style. On the topic of style, stylistic choices aren't going to be right ever. They're never right. Remember at the very beginning when I said that what makes something good is completely relative? Some people are going to like your style and other people's won't. Don't worry about it. People get stuck in their heads wondering if they should cut this part or cut that part, or is this too many jump cuts? Does this music fit the clip properly? Just don't worry so much. I know that's easy to say, but put yourself into the shoes of an audience member, somebody that's watching it. Pretend that you stumbled onto the video. Do you like it how it is? If so, then you're good to go. Really. Every single multiple choice decision that you make with your channel, from the name to the art to the commentary style to the game choice, literally everything will be criticized. It'll be disliked by a group of people. I mean, compare Jacksepticeye to Cry. They do totally different things with their videos. Plenty of people will hate what one or the other make. Plenty will love it. And some people won't like any choice you make ever, for seemingly no reason. So just worry about what you think is best and what you think works for what you're doing. If you have a friend or family member or something that you trust with their opinion on the kind of content you make, I mean, keep in mind that they should be at least familiar with the genre, like, of Let's Plays. Feel free to get their opinion, but ultimately all you can do is do you. Embrace it and make your decisions with confidence. Finally, don't let the lack of views stop you from moving forward. Everyone starts small, and the vast majority of people stay small for a while. Usually quite a while, before seeing any real results. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. It's a hobby, not a job. Your dream might be to be the next big YouTuber and to do this full time, and that's totally fine to have that dream and to want to get there. But your expectations on how quickly that happens need to be realistic. You're not going to publish a video and have it go, especially if it's a Let's Play. You'll be lucky to get a few views. Getting your videos in front of eyeballs isn't really the point of this video, though. It's kind of out of scope. So I wanted to thank you for listening. If you found this helpful, let me know, because if I was able to actually help people with this and people found it useful, then I have other ideas for things I'd like to share. Leave a comment and let me know if there's any specific questions you have or questions about this video, and I'll make sure to answer. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care.